3 clever responses for introverts to use in a toxic work environment whenever they're asked intrusive questions. This is something that replaces the more serious ones where, well, that's a topic that's off limits at work, or I'd rather not discuss this here in the workplace. These are for fun. These are fun, they're lighthearted, and they're witty, which makes you look even smarter. If you're an introvert or a very private person, you really don't like answering personal questions. These responses are lighthearted and they're not meant to cause any kind of conflict or make an issue out of somebody asking you something. I personally am one of those people who like to find a witty way of responding rather than saying, well, that's private, I'd rather not discuss it. Because then you have the people, ooh, well, excuse me. I've always hated that. Even though I shouldn't care, I don't know, it's just me. I would rather find a good comeback that somebody can rather laugh at or not necessarily think, I'm an uptight person. For an introvert, I don't mind sharing some about myself. Some people would say, well, you're not a real introvert then if you do that. I'm quiet, but I'm not extremely quiet. Had people ask me questions that are a little too personal, and I don't care for that because I feel like they're trying to gather data on me, and I don't appreciate that. It's like, what do you want to know this about me for? How do you want to use this against me? Do you want to just find some way to gossip about me when I'm not around? Oh, you know what Heather told me, or you know what's really going on in Heather's life? If there's something you don't want to answer, or there's somebody that you don't want to get chummy with, a lot of it depends on who's asking as well. These are the 3 answers I've come up with that I've given, and I've actually made the other person kind of laugh because they say, oh, okay, I understand. And they don't ask and they don't bother me. I think they actually respected the answer because it was kind of funny. Here's one response you can tell somebody when they ask you something that's a little intrusive. That information requires clearance. You want to be lighthearted. You want to be a little playful about it if you can, because this kind of lightens the tone a little bit. Not only that, it gives you power. You can be friendly and have fun with it. It kind of breaks tension. It's better than just saying, oh, well, I'd rather not discuss this. I'd rather not discuss that. It's fine if you want to answer that way. Just addressing more fun, cute ways, clever ways to answer without having to be so direct about, well, I'm not going to tell you this information. Another good response in a playful way, you'll just have to wait for my book to come out. Again, it's a friendly response. It's not uptight. There's no tension involved in it. You're not making the other person feel terrible for asking. It's just one way of saying, I'm not going to answer that question, but I will give you a cute answer without having to say, I'm not telling you anything. The last one, this is my favorite response to intrusive questions. Well, a little mystery never hurt anyone, and it's good for some of us to stay interesting. Even though you probably don't care about being interesting, you don't want anybody thinking about you, and you don't want them to care about what's going on in your life. It's another nice way and a calm way of responding. It's a more entertaining way. And not only that, it shows your wit. You're thinking on your feet. You don't want to answer the question, but you're not going to just say, I'm not going to tell you. Well, I'd rather talk about something else. This isn't the place to discuss that. That isn't a question I choose to answer. I'd rather keep things private. I'd rather keep my private life private, my professional life professional. You want to have fun with things. You have to work with these people all day long. Why make things tense and rude and dismissive if you don't have to be? I lean more that way. I don't always have these things come to me when they should, but when they do, I really enjoy it. If you don't like to make waves, create issues, create tension, because the other person's probably going to take that personally, it's just best to come up with really fun, clever answers. And like I said, it makes it a little more entertaining, and the back and forth is just kind of a little more fun. There's not any hard feelings. You're not making somebody feel bad for asking something. Maybe they should because it's too intrusive. When it comes to communicating at work and, there's some kind of bonding that has to happen. Have any of you been put in these positions? And what is your answer? Is it usually, I don't want to discuss it? Or do you come up with something kind of clever and funny and just go with it?